It's very dark. Hello? Am I alive? I mean, live? Am I alive? No, I'm dead. This is a message from beyond the grave. Still, am I alive? What do I think this is Detroit? The game? I am alive. Hey there. Oh, hi, Lawrence Fletcher. Thanks for joining. Eve H is here, the one that requested this video. Really looking forward to what I've got to say about it. I don't know if it's going to be for long, though. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm glad you guys are here. It means a lot. So as you guys know, I do 20 minutes of just ranting about random stuff first. It gives time for people to join in, and then I get the hour starts from the 20 minutes of ranting and raving, in which I have a hilarious tale to tell you. Something that just happened to us before the stream. She's still pissed. If I could show you her face, I would. Okay, I can't stay too long because my dinner's near. It's okay. I'm glad you could join in for now. And just a quick hello is enough to, to support and be here. And it's all good. Ed Norton. Okay, I'll talk more about that after 20 minutes. But the funny story, this will give some kicks. Okay, so today, well, as many of you may know, and as obviously, one of you definitely know, for instance, is that Alice is currently under a home care treatment team, which come out every day to check on her, to make sure she's safe, to make sure that she can do different techniques. Today, the option of taking her to hospital has come up, where they think it might be a good idea. And we got told a random thing. Oh, thank you for telling me the stream's looking and sounding good. That's good. That makes me happy. But the random thing is, normally they don't ever talk about it, but today they said they think it might be the option they can take. So we're now panicked because they've said that if we get a phone call from them tonight, it means plans have changed. If we don't, it means that they'll see her tomorrow, like on a regular plan. So we just quickly had to go and post off some letters and stuff to the post box. And okay, we didn't get a phone call, but we saw these two women with like lanyards and badges. And I started making jokes saying, "Oh God, they're going to take you from here. We've only just come back from the shop." Oh no. Okay, yeah. So bye, bitch. Like joking, trying to make her feel a bit comfortable. She was like, "No, I doubt it. As we started walking down, they stopped where they were standing and started walking down towards us, and was like, "Okay, that's a bit weird." Then they started smiling at us, and I thought, "Oh no." And they went, "Hi." I was like, "Oh God, I was only joking." So she started getting panicked, thinking, "Oh God, they've come to get me." And I looked at her name tag, and it said Jesus Christ, and I was like, "What kind of psychologist has the name of?" Oh, and then I could remember when they said hi, it was the American hi. I was like, "Oh God, they're Latter-day Saints, aren't they?" And they're like, "Can we talk to you about God?" I was like, "Look, at the moment, no, really can't." Oh, hey, Horror Legend, thanks for joining. But yeah, so our hearts fell out of our asses because we were like, they're gonna take her there and then, and we got really panicked. But luckily enough, it was. Oh yeah, that was that was not. I mean, we laughed afterwards, but we laughed purely out of fear, if that makes sense. Oh, it was just a very weird things happen out of nowhere. But yeah, so that was a weird story. It's something we kind of needed, just to smile for a second out of fear. Let's see, dude, you check my channel? Yeah, horror or love? Yeah. Oh well, thank you. I haven't checked out yet, but I tell you what, after this stream, I'll watch a couple of your videos. And I'll check you out. So I do love horror. Basically, you might not know, as being new and everything. That's fine. I'll keep you updated because obviously you're a horror fan. I used to be a massive horror fan to the extent of where I had 300 plus DVDs. Massive horror fan. And a couple of years back in 2014, I got diagnosed with having a strained heart, and so much as a little like jump scare type of thing, any kind of little noise that would startle me would send me into a fritz. So I had to put off horror for a good few years. Recently, my heart has been slightly improving, so I can get back into horror, and I've been watching a lot of horrors over the past year. So I mean, it's gotten to the point where I recently watched, well, not recently, a couple months back now, I watched the Evil Dead remake. I watched the Blair Witch remake. I've been watching like Stir of Echoes, a film called Backtrack, which is a great psychological horror thriller, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm back into it. I am loving my horrors again, to the point where I've even got some 3D horror films just to scare the crap out of me and enjoy. So let's see. Culture Trinity, thanks for joining. Oh, sorry, buddy. Feel better. Oh no, thank you. No, thanks. That means a lot. And I am getting slightly better. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm just yeah, I am getting back into my horrors. There's some horror titles I really want to pick up. Like, for example, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw on Instagram there was an Arrow post, and Arrow's meant to be releasing American Werewolf in London at some point soon. If that is the case, I am going to be jumping on it because I love American Werewolf in London. I also really enjoy. I've got a few Arrow titles on. Oh, honestly, when you're talking about Arrow titles, Lauren's Collection. And I know there's quite a few people that have them. I think Kermit's Ghost has a few, if I'm not mistaken. Comes out October 28th. Definitely getting it. Plus, there is a comedy horror, a British comedy horror that's coming out. I don't know if anyone knows this. There is a film. Okay, you'll only really know if you're in the UK, but there is a film called Horror on Hill House. And it stars Frankie Howard, but it's a comedy horror. And that comes out in October, so I'll probably pick them up back to back. Lauren, I thought you'd have it pre-order. You love your Arrow horrors. Yeah, I understand. Lost 90% of my collection in horror. Oh shit, man. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That sucks. Criterion coming out October 29th with Godzilla Complete Collection 50. Oh man, I don't collect Criterions. I'm not a fan of them. But that would probably be the one thing that gets me to buy Criterions. I have one thing that is technically like a Criterion, and it's not. People, whenever I say to them, I've got something that's like a Criterion, they're like, what is it? I show them, and then they're like, oh god, that's nothing like a Criterion. It's the closest I have. Go on the Criterion site. It's sick. I will do. I'll have a look. Because I swore that I would never buy Criterions because there was nothing coming out on Criterion I would ever watch. But if we're talking original Godzillas, man, that's got to be done. It's got to be done. Oh look, damn it. Ugh. See, it's like the thing is, I've got the same issue kind of Arrow. I do love a lot of the movies Arrow have put out. But I don't want to own all of them because I know for a fact that they've probably like released some movies that I really don't want to watch. But I don't want to own them all because it'll make me just feel like I'm collecting them for the fun of it. So I only want to own the ones that they release that I think like I would really want to watch. Movie snob. I'm not a movie snob. Arrow is releasing Nightbreed also the 28th. I've not seen Nightbreed. I've never heard of it, but I mean, if people have seen it and they recommend it, I'll probably watch it at some point. I'll probably pick it up if it gets cheaper enough. Why did I go? I'm talking too fast again. Cheaper enough. There we go. Arrow have some amazing films that I think you may like. All right, Lauren, send me a top 10 list of Arrow titles that you own that you know that I don't, and I'll consider getting them when I go across sales when I've got more money. I know one of them that you mentioned is The Stuff. I know that's one that I want to check out. But as soon as I saw today American Werewolf in London, I was like, that's one I've definitely got to get. Because I pre-ordered Guyver because I'm a massive fan of Guyver and Dark Hero, which I really wish Arrow would put to Blu-ray. Lauren knows. Yes. I've got like 5 Arrow titles. That is like literally the extent I've gotten to so far. I mean, I own Donnie Darko, Hellraiser, Maniac Cop, Guyver, and a film called The Incredible Melting Man, which I still have not seen. But the only reason I will watch it is because in the trailer, there's a guy that you can tell how great the film's going to be by the acting, because he goes, he gets stronger every time he melts. And it's purely because of that. I'm going to watch it. I love cheesy like horror movies. You recommended me Donnie Darko, and I love that. It is a great movie, and especially for those. I know I had a friend that turned around to me recently who had also seen it and was like, "Oh, I don't get it. I think it's a stupid film." And I'm like, "Right, well, do you suffer, or does anyone suffer with mental health?" He goes, "No." And so you don't know anyone that suffers with it? He goes, "No." I was like, "That's probably why you think it's stupid." Because only people who are around that daily can understand that story and really come to terms with what's happening. But it is a very intelligent, very cleverly put movie, and Jake Gyllenhaal was brilliant in it. Also, I do kind of like Patrick Swayze's cameo in that, even though it's a weird role for him to play, but it was nice to see Patrick Swayze again. Oh, hey, man. Oh, thanks for joining. I appreciate you joining, man. Right, if you're wondering why I keep doing this, is because I know to a lot of people out there, it's not going to be that hot, but it's like nearly 30 degrees in my house, and I've got a fan on me, but I'm still roasting. Arrow have much more special features, and some come with like booklets and great. Yes, that is very true. Very true. That's what drew me to Arrow. Because the first Arrow title I ever owned was the Guyver, but it started off, the picture was of the purple artwork, and that sold me straight away. And then when I opened it and I saw it had the original poster art, I was really happy. Really, 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 really happy about that, which is why I hope they do release Guyver Dark Hero to Blu-ray, because that's a better sequel, but a better movie as well. I do love the first one, but Guyver Dark Hero is a better movie. Oh, man. Do gotta love some. See, because I really miss horror movies. I mean, I used to watch them a lot. I pray for your conditioning situation. Sorry, I've been away. No, it's all right, mate. I've been the same. I noticed that you've been doing a lot of streams, and I haven't been able to join. There's been a lot going on at home. I've managed to join some streams of people. I've managed to do some videos. Most videos that I've uploaded because they've been pre-recorded from weeks ago. But these past 2 weeks have been just a heck of a lot of hassle and really stressful. But who knows? Maybe they can pick up. Maybe situations can get better. Okay, so in 7 more minutes, the talk about Alita can start. Which, for anyone who hasn't actually seen the film, I know this. I'm sorry, Eva, if you're watching. I'm not gonna talk specifically too much about the story or about the stuff like that, just because I don't want to spoil it too much for people. So my only way of giving a gist of the story is by the app that I use to organize my movies. It's got like a little telling of there. I'm going to talk a little bit about the cast and stuff like that. Talk about how I really thought the cast worked in the film. But I will be talking purely and very in-depth about the 3D and what I thought. So that hopefully is enough to make people happy, if that's okay. I feel there, mate. We're going to make it. Planning on watching Alita soon, but I love spoilers. Man. I won't spoil it for everyone, but I can appreciate that. At least you're someone that likes spoilers. Yay, 3D. I can't tell if that's sarcastic anymore, Trini. Oh, man. I will say something though. I was talking to my friend Sasha about this yesterday. We was talking about like how why I'm so like into 3D kind of thing, and we was talking about what would I determine to be bad 3D. And I was talking about how two films that came out between 2018 to 2019 that you thought would be made for 3D, but how they were really lacking in some aspects. No, I still love my 3D. Fair enough. No spoilers if you love spoilers, and I've watched it twice back to back. I know you have. You love this film. I know you how much. I've seen the passion you have for this film. But like, yeah, two films. 2018's Ready Player One. I love that movie, but the 3D was not as impressive as it should have been for a film that was made for it. I mean, come on, the film's about VR, so 3D should have been completely like 50-50, top notch. In the PlayStation VR headset, the 3D is slightly improved, but it's not overly fantastic. Like, I can watch it a little bit better and enjoy it a lot more, but it's still not 50-50 presentation. It's still lacking in parts where it should have been better. I would have thought that Ready Player One would be great on 3D. Same here. I thought by watching the trailers, I was thinking this is going to be the best 3D movie of 2018 because of how it looked in the trailers, of what the whole purpose was. I thought, you know what? Warner Brothers is going to do a bang-up job on this film. They're going to give it the greatest 3D treatment. But then, yet again, we took it home, and I was very underwhelmed by the 3D presentation. And I've tried it on two different players. I've tried it on a Blu-ray player and a PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 makes it look slightly better, and then the PlayStation VR makes it look a little bit better. But on the Blu-ray player or any other kind of system, it just looks very mediocre, and that made me sad. And then Mortal Engines. I mean, damn, yet again, another film that came out, and I was thinking, wow, like Mortal Engines was going to be great. And I saw the 3D trailer, because sometimes on YouTube you can check out 3D trailers, and I thought, this looks pretty good. This is going to be amazing. Took it home, and it just looks more like one of those little cardboard pop-up books you used to get at schools. And I was just like, nah, that's not impressive. It's not, because everything else is flat in the background. There's just the characters that are like slightly over the back. And I was just like, no. So I've still got to try that in the VR to see if that improves, but the likeness of it would. It's very minimal. It's very minimal chance. Is there not a review site for you to read the picture reviews on the 3D before buying? That's what I do with 4K to see. I really wish there was. There's some channels that do. There are some channels that do, like there's this thing called like My Monetization. He sometimes does like 3D pictures or 3D clips of the Blu-rays to show you what they're going to be like. But other than that, no, 50-50 is 50-50. 3D is a 50-50 gamble. You know, you won't know if it's going to be good or not until you pay for it. But there's a channel called Spare Change, a guy called Shane. I do trust his reviews with my life when it comes to 3D titles. I do trust him. And every time he's said something, he's been absolutely spot on. That's a good comparison of Mortal Engines, pop-up 3D. Yeah. See, I love my pop-out 3D. I'm very specific. I love my pop-out. Don't get me wrong, depth is really, really good. But in order to make a great, perfect presentation of 3D, it has to have 50% depth, 50% pop. Without those two, it won't work because it will either look too gimmicky or it will just look too flat. Shane from Spare Change is awesome. Yes, he is. Him and Brass Tacks. Brass Tacks used to make me laugh so much. But Shane, I trust the man with my life when it comes to 3D movies. Whenever he does a review, I trust him. I trust him. Apart from once, he did a review about Tomb Raider 3D. And I went, you know what? I want to see it for myself. And then I realized what he was talking about. And I was just like, oh, okay. It's all about 4K. No love for 3D lovers. They killing off 3D here in the US. It sucks. I know. I mean, it's exact. Okay, with this bloody thing, I'm going to talk about it in a second now because it's coming up to the time. But this is the reason why I'm really peed off with this packet. Now, Sasha, he actually managed to find a country that was doing just a 3D, 2D combo release where you didn't have to get the 4K version. And he didn't tell me this in time. I'd already got my copy. And yeah, it was just, yeah, it was too late. He has a 3D preference. Yes, he does. All right, so okay. So I'm gonna cheat. My mini review for the film is gonna be just the basic description. That way I can't spoil it for anybody. Okay, so this stream is obviously about Alita Battle Angel. Talking about the 3D mostly, but I'll just do the cast and the description. So Description is, when Alita awakens with no memory of who she is in the future, she does not recognize she is. See, this is what they've put. She does not recognize. Nothing else, just that. This is just stupid. Let me see. Let me see if I can add some words to make it better. Memory of who she is in the future. World she does not recognize. There we go. I missed the word. I'm blaming them. That's my dyslexia talking. Okay. It's already started off bad, hasn't it? Right, so yeah. She is taken in by Dr. Ido, a compassionate doctor who realizes that somewhere in this abandoned cyborg shell is the heart and soul of a young woman with an extraordinary past. So that's the description of the movie. And that is like amazing. That description already gives a fair enough detailing of what the film can give you. Let me see. Yeah, 3D is dead here in the US, which I still say sucks. I mean, 3D is not, it shouldn't be dead yet. I mean, people still love the platform. They should give it for as long as possible. Can we talk spoilers on Facebook when you get 5? Yeah, sure. So yeah, so that's the description. So it gives a very fair, accurate description of what happens without spoiling anything. So I hope that's enough for people. So the cast is, okay, I don't know who this woman is, but I know a lot of the other cast members. So we've got Rosa Salazar, who plays Alita. I haven't seen her in anything, and if I have, I don't remember her. But in this, she has left a very memorable performance. Very convincing, as considering I've never seen her in anything else. So that's something. But then we also have Christoph Waltz, and I really love Christoph Waltz. That actor has grown on me. Amazing, like from Django Unchained to, even though I'm not a massive fan of Spectre, no, he was still good in that. Also, recently, and Inglourious Bastards, loved him in that as well. So it's kind of nice to see him in something else, especially something as big as this. Let's just, before I finish off with the cast, let's just say that James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez, two of cinema's best, like, producers, directors, but not only that, they're geniuses when it comes to big action, sci-fi kind of movies like that. I've got to go join society briefly. Catch you on foot side. Thanks, Corey. Thanks for joining, man. It means a lot. And I hope you enjoyed so far. I'm sorry that I messed up in the beginning. Gave this a share to the community tab. Oh, thanks, man. All right, you take it easy. But James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez, they're both great people, and they know how to make a film that's entertaining for families, for adults, for kids, for all audiences, and it was nice to see this production. So yeah, cast. So Jennifer Connelly. Wow. It's weird, but she still looks the same as she did in Labyrinth. I mean, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, can you tell how old she's gotten?" No, she genuinely looks the same. She hasn't aged. She's like the female Keanu Reeves. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this guy's name because I will probably butcher it, and then I'll probably be accused of being insensitive. He's the guy that plays. Okay, that's very blurry. Anyone who's seen Luke Cage, he plays Cottonmouth in that, which I really liked him in Luke Cage, and I also liked him in this. His role is very needed, and even though you may be watching it thinking the film could do without him, it really couldn't. He is important. Then you've got Ed Skrin. Ed Skrin. I thought it was Ed Serkin, but it's not. It's Ed Skrin. He plays the Pan. He's like Alita. He's half human. You see him in the trailer. He's like a machine with just a human face with a little mohawk. Love him. He plays Ajax in Deadpool. He's also in Transporter Refueled. He's a good actor, and he's really good with action. Then you've also got Jackie Earle Haley, which I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he is the guy from Watchmen. He plays Rorschach. Yeah. I love that actor. I think he's incredible. Jennifer Connelly is nearly 50 and looks good. She really does. She really, really does. Yeah, so they're the main cast I'm going to go through just because all the others they're not exactly not worth the talk about, but you know, as important to story, those are the main ones that have the most importance. But yeah, that Jackie Earl Haley, he plays one of the biggest. But you see in the trailers where Alita's kind of like spinning through the air, and he's got these metal tentacles flying. He plays that guy. I love his voice. I think he's brilliant. He's got the croaky kind of voice that's terrifying. So yeah, so my opinion on the movie and what I give the movie itself, this is a really fantastic future depiction of where we're heading in the future when it comes to, you know, cybernetic enhancements to bodies. I mean, we already have like cybernetic limbs that we use to help people that have like, amputated limbs and stuff like that. We've also got like mechanical heart valves. Like, I mean, pacemakers have been one for a very, very long time. But this is just showing where technology might head to us in the future. But not only that, it was just very well scripted. I mean, parts of this reminded me so much of Ghost in the Shell, Avatar, and Spy Kids. Alita, Japanese Blade Runner. It practically was, yeah. In a way, it practically was. And I love this film. I think it's an amazing film. The actors all work, the story works, the graphics and the design, and the time and planning it took in to make it all fit this universe. Nothing looked out of place, nothing looked wrong. The story arcs they chose to use worked really, really well. So I give this movie a 5 out of 5. Have you seen iRobot with Will Smith? That's an artificial intelligence movie. And yes, I have. I have my top 5 artificial movies. Number 1 is Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams, my number 1. Then you've got AI with Haley Joel Osment and Jude Law. Then you have iRobot. Then you have Ghost in the Shell, the original. And now you have Alita. Those are my 5. So, yeah, but I do love iRobot. I thought that was really well done. I really did like Will Smith's twist halfway through the film. I thought that made so much sense. No Terminator on that list. Oh. Do you know what? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? If I have to replace, I'd have to replace Ghost in the Shell with Terminator if I had to. I'd have to, because I watched the remake one, and I did like that, but I really loved the original Ghost in the Shell when I watched it. I think the original one is a lot better than the live action. The only thing I didn't like about the original was the ending. I think the ending to the live action was better, but the whole overall film and story was a lot better done in the original version. So yeah, okay. So it goes Bicentennial Man, AI. Oh, I've got to think of this order now. Damn it. Do you know what? Just I've took out Git and put Terminator. Oh, my brain hurts. What's left in my brain? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Lauren. You're about. Do you know what? I actually completely forgot Terminator existed when I was doing this video. Oh, that sucks. My brain is not with it. iRobot took too much from Ghost in the Shell for me to really. I'd say a little bit, man, but iRobot had a really good twist. A really, really good twist that got me, and it kind of made a lot more sense while you're watching it. But yeah, overall, Alita does get a 5 out of 5, and it's in my top 5 favorite like AI movies. So Jambo Shanga and the Randy Moores movie. Yo, hi, thanks for joining. iRobot is based on a novel. That is true. But yeah, so this is it. It's time to get into the 3D of this. Now, this is the bit that I've been looking forward to the most talking about, but maybe not in the way you think. So, yet again, before I watched this, I did watch Shane's video. I do with most 3D films now. And Shane was talking about how the 3D presentation in certain scenes is absolutely phenomenal. You get some really good depth scenes. You get 1 or 2 pop-out scenes. And then he said that throughout some of the scenes, you get some really flat or kind of cardboard cut-out 3D scenes. And when he was describing it, I thought, maybe it's not sounding as bad as I think it does. But then when I started watching the film, I noticed that. Well, I do love Blade Runner, Sasha. I do love it. It's probably in my top 10, but I've only ever seen the original Blade Runner once. I need to rewatch it, and I haven't seen 2049 either. But when I started watching the 3D version of this, it started off really flat. Like there was no 3D. It was like a 2D scene to start with. Then you started getting little bits of depth here and there, slightly getting in. Then it kind of went back to 2D. Then it went back to like the cardboard cutout look. Then it went back to really good depth. Then it went back to 2D. And I was just getting really frustrated watching it. Because it's either you're going to do 3D or you're not. You can't do three different types, which is 2D, a little bit of 3D, and then quite a bit of 3D. And keep switching in between each scene which way it looks. Because that's really frustrating. It's really distracting from what you're trying to see. And I was getting quite annoyed because this is a film that, yet again, like Ready Player One, like Mortal Engines, I was looking so forward to watching in 3D. I mean, this film was ranted and raved about how this was the best 3D film in cinemas, how it was going to be the best 3D film of 2019, how it would overtop all 3D films in cinema. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, this is really letting me down. Then, as I started watching, yet again, it was doing the same changes from really good 3D depths to some cardboard cutout to some 2D. And then they got to the scene where you see in the trailers with the tentacles. And you see for a second, just a second, you see a tiny bit of that nail come out of the screen. And then it stops. And then it goes back to like a mini 2D bit. And then a cardboard cutout look. And that was the only pop-out bit in the whole film. And I was just like, okay, so you've given us one really good pop-out scene, which isn't really that good. It's just the only bit, so we say it's good. And it's just chopping and changing between. It's basically like watching a film doing this, which I know is not helpful to you, but when I take my glasses off, everything is blurry. I cannot see a damn thing. I need these in order to see. And it's like doing that. It's like you're wearing the 3D glasses, you see this really cool experience, and then it goes flat. Then, oh, slightly kind of front. Oh, no, it's flat. And it was really distracting. So for me, and I'm going to have, it may have some good 3D sequences. It may have some, but it does not have enough. And for me, the 3D gets a 1 out of 5. I'm going to have to go since my dinner is done. Sorry. No, don't be sorry. Thank you for joining. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, no, true. Yeah, I'll talk to you in a bit. Enjoy your meal, and thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. This was crazy. Good in Dolby Cinema. Blu-ray Dan. Oh, thanks for joining, man. Blade Runner 2049 3D was okay. Everyone says that. I did demo test it when I pre-ordered it, and I will admit the 3D just looked so bad, so I got rid of it. I am willing to rewatch the movie in 2D. I refuse to ever buy it in 3D again. But yeah, just Alita, the 3D presentation for Alita was so disappointing and very underwhelming that it gets a 1 star. I will never watch this film in 3D again. I mean, I've even tried it on the VR to think maybe the VR could improve it slightly with the PlayStation, and there was just not really any improvements, so this was one of the only times I'm at a computer. Lol, saw you on and had to. Oh, cheers, man! Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's nice to have you join in, man. Oh, so yes, basically it's just I really enjoyed this. The film itself does get a 5 out of 5 because it was just something very spectacular to see. But like I said, I'm very fussy when I come to my 3D movies. I need to have that 50-50 in order. If not 50-50, at least 60-40. Just give us some better presentation. But I was just very, very disappointed in this. And yet again, for James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez, 2 of the 3D masters of 3D Blu-ray. I mean, come on. Avatar, Spy Kids 3, Sharp Boy and Lava Girl, Titanic. Between Terminator 2, Conversion, between these 2 people, this should not have been a fail. And the fact that it was is heartbreaking. Hi, Trini. Blade Runner was never designed for 3D, was not shot with 3D in mind even. So take that into consideration. Maybe true, but I mean, if you're still gonna give it a 3D treatment, you could at least try. You know, that's what upsets me. Anyone who is willing to do a 3D, like even if you don't want to specifically, if you take on the job of giving a movie a 3D presentation, don't waste time making it bad. Because if you make it good, more people are gonna go out and do it. Fox Disney buyout. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. But the problem with that is Disney has some really hit and miss 3D films. Yep, Sin City 2, you're right, Sasha. You said, yeah, Sin City 2. But like even with Disney, they do hit and miss 3D films. Like the first Avengers movie was fantastic in 3D. Then Avengers Age of Ultron was nowhere near as good. But then you got hit back with Black Panther, with Thor Ragnarok, with Doctor Strange, with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with Captain Marvel, with Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, which is a Sony Marvel. But you know, Disney were hit and miss. Same goes for their classic titles, same goes for their Pixar titles, same goes for their standard titles. Like Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is like about 20% depth, 20% pop out, and like 60% nothing. And it's okay, it's enjoyable to some level, but it feels very weak. But then you've got Salazar's Revenge, or which I prefer to say Dead Men Tell No Tales. The 3D for that is 50-50 depth and pop out. It's so much better. And it's done by the exact same people. So why won't the first one done, well, the first 3D version of Pirates of the Caribbean done properly, like the second one was? I mean, same companies, the same stuff, it's the same system. It could be done the same way. There's no reason for one to be really good, for one to be really bad. There's no need for that. Makes no sense. It frustrates me very, very much. I mean, come on. I mean, I know a lot of you do, but if you buy 4K titles, right, and you bought a 4K title thinking you were going to see this crisp, clear picture, and it's got like a VHS transfer, are you going to be impressed? I don't think you would. It's just, that's how it feels. It's like we spend extra money. I mean, in order to get the 3D one, I had to spend £25 because you could only get the 3D with this. But at the time, I already mentioned, Sasha, you found one that doesn't have the 4K. But at the time, this was the only way you could get it. Whereas normally, you could have got the 3D and the Blu-ray for about £15 to £20. I know it's only £5 more, but that's the point. The fact that it costs more to get less. And that's what's upsetting. It's really frustrating. It makes me really hate sometimes buying 3D. And I don't like hating 3D because it's my favorite and preferred platform. The point I am making is that Alita had a clusterfuck release in the pre-order department in the first place. Yes, it did. A lot of people were complaining about Alita because 1 minute it came up that it was going to be pre-ordered, like had a date. Then it got taken away for a while. Then it came back on with a different date. Then it got taken away a while. And then it got put back. And the way it was going to be released kept changing. So that was confusing as hell. Exactly. But it was the same with Bumblebee. It was the exact same with Bumblebee. When Bumblebee came out, it was told in cinemas, it was told on trailers. Bumblebee was coming out in 3D. And for me, I was overly happy with that because I have the last 3 Transformers movies in 3D. So to get Bumblebee was going to be amazing. But then I saw Bumblebee and I was like, oh, this film looks like it would have great 3D. There's so many scenes made for it. Blu-ray came up on Amazon for pre-order. 2D release and DVD only and the 4K. No 3D disc, no 3D title. What a waste of a really amazing film. If they had put a 3D transfer onto that film, it would have been probably their best. It would have been Paramount's best release of the year. Paramount then fucked it. Yeah, they did. It was really depressing. Really depressing. I think you really have to take into account that the photography differs massively from film to film. I honestly don't think it's realistic for them to be universally the same. No, it's not so much that. But I mean, if you've got, I know that obviously it differs from which cameras you use, the way you shoot the film. I know that. I understand that's the way you think of it. But if you're editing it through the same software, if you put in all the color corrections, I mean, because they've got to do it for the 4K ones, you know? And I mean, the picture difference between trying to get a 4K title out there to look good alongside a standard release is it's going to be still a massive change. You've got to go regrade all the colors properly and make it as smooth as possible. If you could do it for a 4K, then you could sit there and go, right, they want a 3D release of this. Let's give them something good. I mean, it's just, it makes no sense to me. And I mean, in fairness, yeah, fair enough, it might be different. But if you think Alita was filmed with 3D cameras anyway, so as far as I know, no post-conversion. See, that's what I thought. That's what I heard. And that's another reason why it sucks. Why it's so annoying that it was not as great as it should have been. But my point is, in the end, if you know for a fact that you can't make the film in 3D, say, for example, a studio is sitting there going, look, due to the way the film was shot, due to the cinematography and everything that's happened, we can't give it a good transfer. It's just going to look very weak. It's going to look very horrible. People are not going to be happy. Then don't release it. But why release it to the public when it looks terrible? It's not right. It's not nice, and it isn't fair to those who pay to watch them. We shouldn't be wasting our money on things that we're never going to be able to enjoy because of something that if they just didn't want to do the work, then that's fine. Then don't put it out there. I'd be happy with them. Like, all right, I'm not happy with them not doing 3D titles, but I'd much rather them not do a 3D release than do a bad 3D release. I will have to judge Alita for myself, I guess, but it does seem strange. Yeah, it does. Who knows? You may see, yet again, that's another thing. The biggest problem with 3D today is everyone's eyes are different. We all see 3D a different way. So I could see 3D to look really bad, but someone else could see it to look really good, and it becomes a big conflict because one person say, "Oh, you're lying, it's terrible. You're lying, it's really good." No, it's not. We see it differently. To one person, it could look like the best 3D presentation ever, and to the other person, it could look really bad. So it's hard to trust other people's opinions because, yeah, perception is different. Exactly. It's very awkward to try and do. It's very awkward to try and understand. But all I know is for myself, I just felt a little bit. I am gonna watch this again, and I am gonna try and watch it on the VR fully. I'm going to try and sit there and watch it throughout the whole film on VR to see if it does. Because there's a lot of films that I thought looked really bad before, but then when I watched them on the VR, they looked fantastic in 3D. So I'll give Alita another go. But I just don't see it making that much of a difference. I don't see myself sitting there going, oh yeah, it looks so amazing now. I'm definitely going to be happy with it. I am massively, massively upset about this release specifically. For a film that, if it was shot with 3D cameras, which you say is, which is great, which is what I thought originally because I read it somewhere it was meant to be done. If that is the case, then there was no excuse at all for it to be bad. Are you saying the Avatar sequels will be post-converted 3D? James Cameron wouldn't not film anything in 3D. Yeah, Cameron is yet again. This is why I love the guy. Well, this is why I love the guy because he did 3D well. He knew his shit. Hey, Lemonade, thanks for joining. But it's like this is what I'm saying. You had James Cameron and you had Robert Rodriguez, and the fact that this flopped is such a disappointment. Hugo's still on. One of the great. Yeah, no, Hugo's still on. Yeah, Hugo, I would agree with that. I did not expect Hugo to look as good as it did, but when you start off with the snow at the train station scene, you instantly can tell how great and how beautiful the 3D is going to be to this movie. Wouldn't not, sorry, I'm sorry. But like, it's just, yeah, Hugo surprised me a lot. Yeah, I actually bought that at random. I didn't think it was going to be great. I'd never even heard of the film. I thought it was just going to be like a cheesy 3D movie to watch. But then, damn, the film had a lot of depth to it. And that's not a 3D. I mean the story. It was surprisingly interesting. Definitely in my top, at least in my top 20 favorite 3D films. But there's been a lot of really disappointing 3D titles over the past few years, and I know some of them have changed since I've been watching them on the VR. There's only one that I know specifically hasn't changed, and like I've said before, that is Maleficent. I've watched it. I actually watched it on the VR. And the only thing you notice about Maleficent is that there is a quite a bit more depth, but that's it. But it's still not that much depth to kind of notice it as much as a normal 3D film would be. So, yeah, but there's been so many, and it sucks. It sucks. Although I am looking forward to Shazam because Shazam 3D should be as good as Aquaman 3D. Aquaman 3D was freaking amazing, and Wonder Woman 3D was amazing. LJ gave me this 3D review spoiler last night. Yes, I did. I did. It's because we were talking about stuff anyway, so I ended up letting it out. I was. Oh, man. Shazam 3D was meh. Oh, but I haven't seen it yet, so I wouldn't know. But hopefully the 3D in the cinemas, because Aquaman 3D was good, and Wonder Woman 3D was good. But I'm definitely... Okay, I don't look forward to the film because I'm not a fan of the film, but I am looking forward to Endgame 3D. I think if the 3D is done well, then I can enjoy the film to a reasonable extent. But as story goes, I think Endgame is probably the weakest of the Marvel Universe so far. I'm still a bit confused how the results can be so different to different platforms. How the results can be so different of different. I don't know. It is confusing. As long as studios are still willing to support 3D for avid consumers and not make us like. Yeah, I agree. Oh. Oh. Nah, it's a hot day today. We are absolutely fucking baking. Yeah. So, as thanks. I laugh too much. But yeah, as Alita goes, as I said, the film itself gets a 5 out of 5 for just being a fantastic, phenomenal movie. But 3D gets a 1 star purely for the fact of it. The scenes where there was good 3D, I will admit there was good 3D, but you can't give us a couple of really good scenes and then give us a film that practically has none at all and expect us to be super happy with that. It's not good enough at all. Considering the whole film is one big 3D fest, where it should have been anyway. Oh man. It's nothing compared to Miss Sweets. Sorry. It's fine. It's fine. You're taking away the only good thing about me, Sasha. You and your horniness. Traitor. Gonna check it out over the weekend. Okay. I hope you see what I mean. If not, I hope you enjoy it instead, because I'd rather people enjoy it than be upset with it. But me, it's a no-go. I'll watch it one more time on the VR, but after that, that's it. I'm just going to stick with the 2D version. At least in IMAX 3D was epic. Not so much on the Blu-ray, but 3D, unfortunately. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It just the Blu-ray version was. No, her laugh has healing properties. Oh, and my laugh scars people. Thank you very much. I like how my laugh is more of a dangerous one. Sasha, I'm starting to think that you don't like me, really. The start of Endgame was good. The middle was meh, and the ending was awesome. But that middle act, yes, there was a lot of issues with Endgame. Not just story, but a lot of characters as well. Plus, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. Just Thanos was nowhere near as an amazing character as he was in Infinity War. When I was watching Infinity War, man, I was on Thanos' back. Like, I agreed with everything he was saying. He was like, oh my god, Thanos was like the best dictator that you could get alongside with in movies I'd ever seen. his theories, his plans, his intelligence, his like sarcasticness, everything was perfect about his character. And they just stripped it all away from Endgame, and now he's just a typical bad guy. And that pisses me off, because I loved Thanos. Oh, God. But Endgame was just... I mean, yeah, the ending's good, the beginning scenes are good, but that film, man, I was just trying so hard not to go to sleep. 2D or 3D aside of it, of course, going to be impressive at that size. And people are blinded by the hype for Endgame. People just ignore flaws. Exactly. Me, I'm honest about it. It's going to be impressive. 2D or 3D aside. Yeah, I mean, I can enjoy I can enjoy a Blu-ray on just like a 19-inch screen. I don't really care much for the size of the screen. It's about the quality of the content, you know. In the end, you still enjoy it. I did fall asleep in the middle. Infinity War was basically a Thanos backstory. Yeah, exactly. But it's just, yeah, that's so I'm looking forward to it in 3D. I'm not looking forward to majority of the movie, but after watching Captain Marvel and how amazing the 3D was to that, like the 3D was absolutely perfect to Captain Marvel. So if Endgame's the same, then we've got nothing to worry about. I'm also hoping we get art on the discs for Endgame, because otherwise that would just be annoying if it's just for Captain Marvel. Talk about IMAX screens, I mean. Okay. I've never seen an IMAX film in cinemas, so I wouldn't know what that's all about. I watched Infinity War back to back with Endgame, and I was just bored shitless. Oh man, okay. I love Infinity War. I think Infinity War is a great movie, and I think it's a great telling towards the ending of the MCU phases that's happened so far. But I think when it comes to Endgame, though, that's when the big problem starts. They lost it. Oh, hello, thanks for joining. I'm only here for like I'd say another 28 minutes. Thanks for joining, man. But yeah, Infinity War was perfect, and I thought that was a great close to ending with the MCU's phases, but Endgame just had a lot of problems, a lot of faults, a lot of character issues, a lot of story arc problems, and just overall. Like I wasn't interested until the ending came back up. I don't think we'll talk Winter Soldiers. Okay. Me and you're gonna have conversations about this even then. Okay, right. So you might not know this. Winter Soldier is actually my least favorite MCU movie. And the only reason it is my least favorite is because everyone went absolutely apeshit about it before it came out. And it was like, everyone was like, oh, this is going to be the best. This is going to be the best. This is going to be, like, you know, Marvel's going to be able to do no better movies. But since Winter Soldier, MCU has banged out at least 6 better MCU movies. And the fact that people were still going, oh, no, Winter Soldier. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I watched Winter Soldier. I do like the film. I think it is a good Captain America sequel. But when you try and compare it to more of the recent ones that's come out, it wasn't as great as everyone was making it to be. And then you kind of feel underwhelmed. And then instead of thinking, oh, maybe you're underwhelmed because of the audience, you feel underwhelmed because of the film. And then you end up just kind of going, oh, that sucks. But examples of better MCU movies. Well, okay, I mean, Thor Ragnarok, that was a massive improvement. Black Panther is still my number 2 favorite MCU movie after Iron Man. Iron Man will always be my favorite MCU movie because without Iron Man, we would nowhere near have as many. I can guarantee this for a fact. The only reason most people wanted to do the MCU movies was because they knew they were going to, at some point, meet Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Right, and the problem is, if Robert Downey Jr. was not Iron Man, and if Jon Favreau's Iron Man did not take off as well as it did, the MCU would not be what it is today. It wouldn't be anything close to what it is today. But Black Panther, to me, is the best, most natural feeling MCU movie to date because of its culture, because of its picture quality, not like picture quality like on the Blu-ray, but the scenery, its style, the flow of the stories. Like I said, the main thing I love about Black Panther is the fact that it's not like, oh, what's it called? Like I've said in my reviews and stuff, where Black Panther or where T'Challa has to do challenges for people for the throne, he doesn't get to have his powers. He gets stripped of them to fight as human, you know? And it's not radioactive chemicals, it's not serum, it's not spider bites. This is a meteorite hit the earth, contaminated some plant life, but while it contaminated, makes like some super steroids, which then he takes in order to be like, you know, just that's what I liked about it, was the fact that it was one of the most natural, realistic feeling hero movies compared to most others. Thor Ragnarok didn't like. The best bits were in the trailer. Okay, I can understand why people wouldn't like Thor Ragnarok, but for me, it was just throughout amazing. Black Panther cinematography for a CGI scene is good. I love the scenes going into Wakanda, coming around Wakanda. I mean, the other reason I love Black Panther, and I don't care about what anyone says, this is still my number one thing. When you think about best MCU villains, there are three. There are only three great MCU villains. One is obviously Thanos. Yes. Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan did a great bloody job at that role. Oh my God. And yet again, he wasn't even actually a villain. He wasn't a villain. He was trying to do his family justice. He was just angry. And I don't blame him. When you look at the backstory, his motives for it, I don't blame him. I don't. And you look at the scene where he starts challenging T'Challa. When he's standing there and he's like, I challenge you to the front, and like everyone's telling T'Challa, oh, don't accept it, you know, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I will accept, because I know exactly why he's here. And it's yeah, exactly. There we go. See, you know, that's why I love it. And you know what? I don't care what other people say about this as well. The amount of hate Black Panther got online, the amount of hate Black Panther was receiving on Facebook or on Twitter, everyone's going, oh, it's the worst MCU movie ever, can't stand it. And I can guarantee something, 90% of why people didn't like it is because they are racist people. And I know this is going to be like a big thing to say, but it is true. Because yet again recently, same thing has happened, right? And same thing happened for 007 when everyone was talking about Idris Elba becoming James Bond. Everyone was like, no, it can't happen. No, it wouldn't work. No, you can't have him as Bond. No, you can't. No, why don't you get someone like Robert Pattinson or Tom Hardy? Why could it not be Idris Elba? And don't give me that crap about, oh, it's the same guy saying that. I don't care. The amount of times they rebooted, remade, changed the actors. There is not one good damn reason why Idris Elba could not have been a 007 for a movie. It is not fair nor possible. Right? And it's the same for Black Panther, because it was all about a black orientated film. People were like, oh no, we can't like that. It's the same reason why Wonder Woman got hate, because she was not an American white woman. And that was not fair, because Wonder Woman is one of DC's best movies since Dark Knight. And that really gets me, is the amount of racism behind it. Idris Elba might be black. That is true. There was hate for Black Panther. Yes, there was. When do you think about the best MCU villains? Haha, I never. Yeah, I do. It's Thanos, Killmonger, and Loki, because he's not good and he's not really a villain, but he is in a way. Like, he's bad, but for his own reasons as well. I only just realized what MCU means. Fair enough, Sasha. But yeah, it's just that there's so much racism still in Hollywood, which makes no sense. Not only that Panther said, why didn't you bring him home? Exactly. There was no reason to leave him behind. There was no reason for it. There was no... That film, I tell you what, that is exactly why this film is my number 2 favorite MCU movie. Because the story is just too fun. And then someone had to go and say, oh, it's actually it's an MCU version of The Lion King. No, it's not. It is nothing like The Lion King whatsoever. It's nothing like Lion King. I know where they tried to take that idea from, but no. We may disagree, but I understand what. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like it's not a negative disagreement. It's a positive one. Like we disagree for the right reasons. Lion King is basically, yeah, exactly. But I can see why people would pin like that's the thing. In order to compare Black Panther to Lion King, you have to pick some very tiny moments throughout the film to really class it as Lion King, because a lot of that movie has nothing to do with the Lion King story whatsoever. But Killmonger was just freaking amazing. I loved him so much. The only thing that peed me off about the film was the ending. It was everything made no sense after that. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, like this is very underwhelming. But visually stunning, story-wise perfect. Oh my god, this movie was it was everything. Everything I wanted in an MCU movie. Although I'm so happy to say something. Okay, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Keanu Reeves keeps telling Marvel no. They've offered him so many roles, and he keeps saying no, no, no. But they did send him a comic to read. This is what I read on Facebook. They sent him a comic to read of a character and said, look, if you are willing to be in an MCU movie, would you be willing to play this character? And all he said was, I'll have a look. He's always said no. The fact that he said he'll have a look is something. And it's the character that I was hoping that he would play. There's two characters that I know he'd be perfect for. Adam Warlock, which is not this person, but Moon Knight. And if he can play Moon Knight, we will get the best MCU movie to exist. Because Moon Knight is a very valuable character. No one mentions until later in the comics. And when he comes in, he's a very significant character. He makes a lot of sense to a lot of other comic book characters. So if we can get Keanu Reeves to play him, gotta go. Keep free your leg. Ah, yes, Trini. Take care, man. I'll see you soon. So we've got about 18 minutes. Marvel Batman. Oh man, Moon Knight is a fantastic character. Moon Knight is a mentally ill character where he is the hero and he is the villain. Because by day he wears a white outfit with a moon on it and he saves people, but by night he wears a black outfit with a well, I think it's like a yellow moon on the white outfit and then a white moon on the black outfit, and he's the villain. So, I mean, that's going to be a freaking amazing movie. It's a very weird twist. Well, that's what I read in the comics anyway, unless they do something differently, which they probably will. Exactly. So could you imagine if we get that movie, especially if it's Keanu Reeves? Oh, it would be so good. You are all right about racism not making any sense in Hollywood, as you said, but I'm sorry to say that I think it's always going to exist. It will. There's nothing I hate more than prejudice. Yeah, no, it will. See, they've said that there's a woman that they've taken from Captain Marvel. There's a black actress in Captain Marvel that has currently been chosen to be the first female Black Bond. And everyone went completely crazy. She can't be female. She can't be black. It's 007. It's James Bond. You can't have it. There's just too much stupidity. And I understand, yeah, they could easily use a different 00 number. It doesn't have to be 007. It doesn't have to be James Bond. You can have that. But it's not the point. Telling a woman that she can't play a certain role because it has to be that person, that's already bad enough. Telling a black woman she can't is just pure racism. Pure racism. Right? Whether you're black, you're white, you're Asian, it doesn't make a difference. You're all human on the inside. You all have the same organs. You're all born the same kind of way. In the end, we are all identical. Okay? I mean, people out there, they go and buy different sweets that are in different wrappers, but they may taste the same. It doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't matter. Like for example, right? With in the comics, I remember a lot of backlash went about this. in the comics, Iron Man had chosen like a future successor. And in the comics, they talk about this young black woman, which apparently was meant to be like Shuri from Black Panther. She was supposed to be like her, really intelligent, really smart, and that's why Tony Stark took her under his wing, trained her to be the next Iron Man. And a lot of people were like sending those comics back, saying, "No, we can't have this. No, we can't have it. It's Iron Man, not Iron Black Woman." And I was like, "Why? Why? Why does it matter? Why is it important?" Everyone complained about Miles Morales being Spider-Man. Why? I made this point to Sasha last night. Peter Parker has been done to death. How many Uncle Bens can you kill before the story gets boring? Oh. Peter Parker's been done too much. I'm happy with Tom Holland's portrayal for the MCU at the moment. That's pretty good. But Miles Morales is a great character and a great story. Yeah, Ironheart. See? Like, I mean, and I wouldn't mind, but in the comics, she was pretty badass. But nope, didn't like her. I remember this as kids. I don't remember who remembers this, but there was an animated Iron Man TV show back in the 90s where, you know, you had War Machine. And War Machine was played by Tony Stark's friend, who was a white guy in the show. And then when it got announced that War Machine in Iron Man 2 was going to be played by a black guy, Don Cheadle, people were like, "Oh, no, War Machine was white." Who cares? Iron Man 1996? I think so, yeah. And I was like, but why, who cares? Marvel movies are not taking every little thing from the comics. They are making their own changes for cinema, because if you're watching a movie that is literally doing everything that the comic does, you might as well just keep reading the comic. They want to make it different for the cinema. They want to make it different for the movies, to give you a different light on things. You can't keep complaining just because someone's skin color is different or because they have boobs and you don't. It's got to stop. We need a live action mod. Yes, we do. My favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That is my favorite Spider-Man movie. Not just because it has Miles Morales, not just because it's not Peter Parker's main focus, but because the story is perfect. It's not focusing on one main problem. It's got a whole bunch of problems that you have to work out all together to fix the main problem. It is a puzzle that you can watch and feel satisfied with the end result. Civil War comic is way different to the film. Exactly. In the Civil War comic, Captain America fucking died. Which he still should have. Oh. I get so passionate. Oh man, I really hate Captain America. I can't stand it. I love the guy, and I love Captain America in movies, but I just think they made it out like he was like the best person in the whole MCU. Like in Civil War at the end when he was fighting Iron Man, there was no way in hell he should have got away with that. Right? Same with Infinity War. Yes. They try to make it out like he's the best main focus of the MCU, and he's not. If you're sticking to source material, though, surely that matters. No, because they're not sticking to source material. They've changed a lot of main points about the films. Nothing that they really do in the movies is anything close to what they've seen in the comics. It's like X-Men. There was a lot of differences in X-Men compared to the originals, compared to the actual comics. The movies were very different. Like, for example, Wolverine was not as tall as he is with Hugh Jackman. Wolverine was a short, stubby little man. He was a midget. Right? He should not have been as tall as he was. Also, okay, Hugh Jackman's definitely worked up his body over the years, and Hugh Jackman has given us the best and like live action performance of Wolverine we're ever going to get. So, round of applause for Hugh Jackman for being one of the best like Marvel characters in any movie to exist. But like to start off with, when you watch the first X-Men movie, how tall but scrawny he is, it didn't look right. I want Tony to keep exactly same here, right? And it was so good in that scene Hey, Miss Sung, thanks for joining. I'm only on for 11 minutes, but thank you. Yeah, no, like the fight between him and Cap, like Iron Man was winning and should have won. The fact that Cap had the edge at the end, bullshit, didn't make sense. Ruined the whole ending of that film. Made no freaking sense. Does my head. Plus, if we're going to talk about like source material and stuff, Infinity War, there was a lot more characters. Okay, you mean about that? I mean casting a woman in a male role. Not saying that don't have that right, but just does strays from the yeah. Okay, no, fair enough. I understand that in the books he's always been a guy, the films he's always been a guy. The thing is, people don't realize that they were okay. And I know people are trying to tell me this, but yet again, the books were different to the films. Yeah, right. The studios wanted to do something different that wasn't in the books in the films to make the films obviously their own thing. One of the best lines in Civil War. But in the books, James Bond, that was his name. That was his birth name. But then when you started watching Sean Connery's 007s up until Roger Moore's, they were making it quite clear that the name 007 James Bond is the name that goes with 007. So whoever reaches 00 status, if the previous Bond is dead or is no longer an agent, they will hire someone else who will be 007 James Bond. That will be the name. That was the whole point they were doing with the movie, because they had to explain why the actor kept changing through films. And there was this slight little, like, not really like a fourth wall break kind of situation in George Lazenby's On Her Majesty's Secret Service when he's on the beach and he's like, I bet this never happened to the other fellow. Now everyone goes, oh, that was just a fourth wall break to kind of see that someone else is playing the character. No, they explained. All right, take care, Lemonade. Thanks for joining. But they explained that the reason he did that was to basically say that he's the new 007. It wasn't about just he's the new actor. It was the fact that he's the new 007. And everyone goes, oh, but it's still the same. It's still the same guy because Timothy Dalton mourned the death of his wife. If it's in his report that 007 lost his wife, he'll have to adapt to that role to stick with the persona. But not only that, who's to say that the guy that made 007 status into James Bond didn't also lose a wife too? You don't know. The thing is, the point is, they've changed the actors so much and the story so much. And you could have a black female Bond. You could have a black Bond. You could have an Asian Bond. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't matter. Wow, my neighbors are smoking and definitely in the air. Sassy's going to be a stoked monkey. But yeah, so it's just a lot of problems in Hollywood. A lot of sexism, racism, and just plain off stupidity for one movie. Okay, yeah, that's true. George Lazenby was only in one movie, but he was a good Bond. He to be honest, we're talking about 007, which in the books he was the handsome, chiseled, muscle-bound Bond. Considering the fact that George Lazenby was the only actual ripped Bond, because Sean Connery had tiny arm muscles, Pierce Brosnan had none, Timothy Dalton had none, Roger Moore didn't know what muscle was. It really is. But like, yeah, George Lazenby, he was ripped. He was the perfect, and plus he had the chiseled jaw, so he was the perfect definition of what 007 was. And to be honest, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is probably one of the best and better 007 movies. So, gotta give him that. Most memorable to me. Diana Rigg was the best part. No. Oh man. Tell you what though. I'll tell you what, George Lazenby got a lot in that movie. Compared to most Bonds in most of their movies, he got the most. 5 more minutes and the stream ends. Oh, got a sore throat. He was a model. Yeah, he was. He really was. He was He was like the perfect depiction of 007. I love all Bond movies. I mean, I do love the Daniel Craig era. I love his movies, but people are following those as proper canon, and the problem is you can't do that. You can't follow Daniel Craig. So considering it's technically meant to be a prequel to the originals, as well as it makes no sense. Did you know that in the 1980s Mel Gibson was offered the role of Bond? Okay, that would be terrible. I love Mel Gibson, but that would be terrible. So I'm like, oh man, I'm only on for 5 more minutes. But thanks for joining, man. I appreciate you joining in at least. That's still important to me. But yeah, this whole Hollywood bullshit needs to stop. Oh man, it's been a long day. We've got so much happening. We've had the visit from the home treatment team. We've got to post off a bunch of forms and letters to get filled in before next month. And everything's been having with Alice over the past 2 weeks. It's all chaotic. How excited are you for the MCU Phase 4? I haven't actually looked at the list. I've seen a couple of names pop up, and like I kind of look forward to it, but I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how I'm going to feel because of Endgame's outcome. I don't know if I'm going to still enjoy it. In my opinion, Alita is great, epic, action 3D, really hoping for a sequel. I gave Alita 5 out of 5, but the 3D I gave a 1 out of 5 because there are some scenes that are really good, some scenes that are flat, and some scenes that look cardboardy, and it keeps doing it in and out, in and out, in and out like that, and it bugged me, man. It bugged me. I can't enjoy that. Either stick with good 3D throughout or have none. I think Dalton really nailed the character the best personally. Dalton was good. Dalton was a good Bond. I'm not saying he wasn't. But when you look at George Lazenby, the physical attributes, the acting attributes, and plus in fairness, he got the best 007 story. Like, A Majesty's Secret Service is the best story. I don't like DC. I like yeah, that's what I was. I don't know why. That's pretty much the general concept. Okay, I am still here. Hi, Miss Song. Like I'm finishing the stream in 2 minutes, so final conversations, and then this will end. I don't know why, man. I've tried the 3D on my PlayStation, on my Blu-ray player, but I've even tried it with the VR, and it just still looks. Well, have you tried? Yeah, I've tried bits. I'm gonna try and watch the whole film again on the VR, and I'm hoping that does improve it, because the VR gives you a much better look on what 3D really gives. Which is why I never thought it would, because with the VR, it's not exactly a TV, so you don't get 100% like perfect picture. You get like cinema type quality 3D. But I've noticed that when it comes to the VR, you can notice so much more detail in 3D than you can on a TV. Robert Davi is one of the best Bond villains. I know that name. I can't put the name to the face. Oh, those letters name. I know that name Robert Davi, but I just can't. I really can't pinpoint the face. Ah, yes. Okay. Maybe you got a defective disc, mate. Mine looks stellar. That's the thing. No, I mean, there's other people that have said the same thing. I mean, even Shane from Spare Change, he said the exact same description. There are some really good in-depth scenes. There's like maybe one or two real pop-out moments, and the rest looks kind of cardboard cutout and flat. But he still gave it a good review. And I trust Shane with my life. Like, the man always tells the truth when it comes to 3D titles. He's hit on the nail every time. Right. The stream's going to come to an end now, guys. It's now 20 minutes past 1, so it's been the hour. Well, it's coming up to the hour. Shane said only like a couple of scenes of cardboard cut overall. It was stellar. Agent Johnson from Die Hard. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what, okay, sorry. Daniel Craig, to the daughter, Pittsburgh. All right, so I think there was meant to be like 10 more minutes on this stream, but I'm starting to like feel really sick. I'm really, really hot, and I'm like, as you saw, I'm yawning quite a lot, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I'm gonna probably go for now. Hope that's okay with everybody, and I'll talk to you all soon. I'll probably do another one of these live stream 3D reviews when Shazam comes out, because that looks good. But thanks to everyone who joined. Thanks to everyone who was still joining in at the end. Thanks to those who stuck around. Really means a lot to me that you're all here. And I hope that my review on Alita story in 3D was enough to make people understand differences of what I said. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.